Okay, good morning everyone, and just to take this opportunity to sit together, and this is the beginning of our day of practice and study day. As Ajahn Nyaniko said, a very worthy way of celebrating the anniversary of Abhayagiri being established, and the theme, sort of continuing on the theme of Anapanasati, that was the last practice day, was the several kind of requests to continue to explore that Anapanasati as a practice, but then also folding in the contemplation of death, Maranasati. Or Marananusati. Anusati is to recollect, to remember. But just beginning as we begin the day, to get yourselves settled in your meditation posture, whether you're sitting cross-legged, sitting on a chair, sitting, kneeling, or however one is sitting. Just really try to make yourself comfortable. That's an important piece of, our meditation. You're not looking for new and unique ways to make yourself suffer and be miserable. Just sit comfortably, and but that having an alertness of posture. That's part of the sitting comfortably for meditation is not quite the same as sitting comfortably and, watching television. These are different modes of being, and the meditation is an opportunity to develop increased alertness, mindfulness, awareness, attention, and using the breath as a foundation. As we sit, it's these three elements of the body, the physical body, sitting posture, the breath as it comes in and out, and the mind, the directing of attention to the breath. So just you're working with what you have already, just relaxing into the physical posture, but being attentive and alert to how to get a nice balanced posture. Because this theme of balance is something that is integral to our developing of our Dhamma practice, or cultivation of the Buddha's way. It's something that Ajahn Chah in particular used to emphasize. This sense of balance, of a just right quality, and for those who know Thai, Dhamma ku kwam podi. Dhamma is sort of just right, is just the right balance. So being attentive to that, not too slack, not too tense, just in balance. And that's where we can sustain awareness, sustain attention. If we're too relaxed, we drift off. If we're too tense, we start to spin out and get agitated. So it's just finding a nice balance, and enjoy the opportunity to be present. So often we spend our time scrambling to get something that is an idea of what we think we should be getting or doing or being or becoming. So just to enjoy this present moment. That in itself is a radical concept. Where the whole idea of no pain, no gain, I don't know, that's a kind of deluded way of going about things. and quite, I say, culturally conditioned. And sort of the greater my suffering, the more noble it becomes somehow. And but the Buddha is saying, pay attention to your well-being, pay attention to your sense of enjoying this opportunity to train the heart, allow the heart to experience clarity and stillness. So just paying attention to the breath as it comes in, as it comes out. And taking attention or directing attention to the as the breath comes in, you're touching the tip of the nose. It comes in to the trunk of the body and the chest, down into the abdomen and down into the core. And kind of rising up from your seated posture. You're sitting there, and the body's rising up from the pelvic area. And the back is nice and straight. It's nice and balanced. The breath is flowing in and flowing out quite naturally. You're not trying to control it, not trying to force it, not trying to restrict it in any way, but just being alert and present to the sensation. So as the breath comes in, just following that sensation, it feels like there's an arising of the sensation, say at the tip of the nose, and it comes into the body, and there is an ending point, say at the abdomen. That's if one's paying attention to the whole body. I mean, we can, for those who are a bit more experienced and who've been doing this for some time, then it's certainly also to just paying attention at one particular point of that sensation of the breath coming in. But there is an arising of the sensation of the breath, and then there is an ending to that, just natural rhythm of the process of breathing. The breath goes out. I mean, there's a beginning to the out-breath and an ending to that out-breath. So that taking an interest in the not so much about what's the content of the mind or what you're trying to accomplish, just trying to be mindful in this present moment and allowing things to fall away. When we think of it's like using a recollection of death, marna sati. That is an ending. And there is allowing things to fall away, rather than, say, chasing after it with a sense of desire and expectation, wanting, having a sense of irritation or aggravation, or sinking into confusion and doubt. Just keeping things simple, keeping a simplicity of attention. The breath coming in, the breath going out. The sensation of the breath arising, sensation of the breath ceasing. But allow it to be in awareness. That's your most important opportunity, as the opportunity to be aware, alert, to be mindful, to not to lull oneself into a kind of complacency or drifting with the moods of the mind, just settling into a certain attention that is taking an interest in the sensation, taking an interest in the arising, taking an interest in the ceasing. Because there's a certain ease that comes into the mind when we allow things to cease. It's like and the breath is ceasing all the time. But we oftentimes don't recognize it, don't pay attention. We get distracted. We get caught up in the content of the mind, the moods of the mind. But the opportunity is to just be with the knowing. And then that sense of ceasing is not drifting into an emptiness or a voidness, but there is a space, a spaciousness of awareness and attention. And then to be present. Recollecting, say, our death is just recollecting in terms of it's just another form of ceasing. It's not all that special. It's not all that out of the ordinary. It's extremely ordinary. But of course, why does it feel so potent or impactful? Because it's about me. And it's important to recognize that, you say, from a Buddhist perspective, say a contemplation of death is not a contemplation that is based on a sort of like a fatalistic, well, you're going to die anyway, or a materialistic kind of materialistic nihilism. Those are anathema to the Buddha's understanding that he's trying to impart and trying to impress upon us. There is a middle way, and that to kind of acquiesce to a kind of a negative nihilism, a negative materialistic perception of our being, it doesn't do us any good. In the same way of some kind of an eternalism, it's everything's we're just going to maintain ourselves in some kind of being that is eternal and safe. That's a bit of a delusion also. There is a middle way that allows things to come into being and to cease. And the key is this quality of knowing. The key is the awareness, being this knowing awareness. That we all have the capacity for that, but we get distracted, we get caught up, and we forget. So that to reminding ourselves of the marana sati, and this, death is a very distinct reality, but not looking at it with fear or or even resignation. So looking at it, because what the Buddha is, one of the images that the Buddha uses for death is, say, rather than death being some kind of, again, annihilation, or it is a journey, and we need to prepare for that journey. And of course, the best preparation for that journey from the Buddhist perspective is certainly what we've already done, refuges, precepts, meditation, cultivation of wholesome qualities, because these are the things that we carry with us. And they're also what we say, that things that are waiting for us at the end of the journey. So is preparing for this journey, and kind of the best preparation is mindfulness, alertness, awareness, mindfulness of the breath. As we breathe in, being alert and present. As we breathe out, being alert and present. Keeping that sense of balance of the body and the mind. The body being as upright and energized as possible. Again, without straining or agitating. Just balanced and upright as best one can. And each person has to figure out what works. And what works also changes. It's certainly for myself, as I get older and my body starts to get creaky and joints just don't function so well, have to adjust it. And we all have to pay attention to what works. But the thread that stays through this is this sense of balance, just right quality. And same with the mind, this balanced, just right quality of knowing awareness, being the knowing awareness in this present moment. As the breath comes in, as the breath goes out, being the knowing. This is a theme that pervades the kind of the meditation masters of the northeast of Thailand. And this being the knowing. This is the key that sort of unlocks and opens the possibility of a peace, the possibility of knowledge, possibility of understanding, opens up the possibility of relinquishment and release. Because it's important to recognize that, we're actually not trying to attain or achieve much of anything at all. What we're trying to do is let go, to relinquish, to release, and letting go of our greed. I want to get this state of mind. I have to get this samadhi. I have to get this knowledge and understanding. On a conventional level, obviously one wants to set some kind of goals, but as long as it's driven by desire, clinging, greed, it's going to create suffering. So just releasing into this quality of knowing. Aversion and irritation. If you've got a human body and born into this world or any world there's going to be something that irritates you. Do we want to obsess over that? Do we want to get tangled up in that? I would say no. Just release it, let it go, relinquish the kind of the storyline that opts for aversion. And same with delusion. I mean, delusion is there's many ways that delusion functions in the mind. It's the basic delusion of this entity that we call I and me and mine. That's a fundamental delusion. We're all elements of nature. We tend to assume identity around the moods of the mind, impressions of the mind. But all of those moods and impressions, they come and they go. They arise and they cease. They are ephemeral and insubstantial, not worthy of really creating an identity around. And of course that's what causes confusion or doubt or wavering or uncertainty or holding on to some kind of fixed view, or trying to prop up some sort of fixed view. Just this fundamental delusion. Just being able to acknowledge that, one doesn't really want to create an identity, an identification of that me and mine energy around anything, whether it's internal or external, whether it's coarse or refined. What we can do is relinquish, we can release, we can let go. And that's where our sense of clarity and peace is. And it's a good reminder. It's that use of Maranasati, that this is a reality. We all face death. And this is whether we're, young or old, male or female, whatever race or nationality, and the universal constant is that there is a point, there is a time of death. And it's unpredictable, uncertain, but we all will experience that. So it's just using, and then rather than shrinking back out of fear, we turn to it and say, what can I learn from this? How can I understand this? How can I use this so that it is for my benefit, my own benefit, and the benefit of others? What can I cultivate that allows a sense of ease and well-being? It's just using it as a tool. And this is certainly the Buddha's teaching is these are not absolute doctrines. They are tools for freeing the heart from its tendency to create dis-ease, discontent, to suffer. And so that freedom from suffering is grounded in the quality of knowing, the quality of awareness. And then just using that which is closest to hand for supporting that knowing, that awareness. Breathing in is being with the knowing. Breathing out, being with the knowing. Allowing that quality of knowing awareness to establish itself firmly. So we could just maybe sit quietly without my voice droning on for the next little bit.